I think at a macro level, the concern about political attention to affordable housing and urban issues is very disheartening. There's been really a turning away from many years. It's not just short term, but a turning away from the interests of low-income people in the cities, and I think a belief that cities are reviving themselves through the marketplace. I'm not a subscriber to that belief. On a more close-in micro level, it's hard to have a community-based nonprofit operating in a world where there are other players with a lot more resources, and so we are always kind of scrambling to have enough to do our work properly, and we stretch ourselves in order to make that happen. I really think the LISC HDTI training is amazing. I was really new to the world of housing development when I was tapped for the training. I had trained in housing policy and the broader context, but actually the nuts and bolts of housing development were not known to me, and I was learning on the job. And when you learn on the job, you learn over a pretty long phase. So housing development can take 5-6 years before you get from the beginning to the end. What LISC training does is put all that together in just a few weeks so that you actually are able to see the whole picture, and it's very helpful to see the end when you're still working on the beginning. We celebrate groundbreaking and we celebrate ribbon cutting, and they're the rewards for a long, hard slog through a lot of legal documents and financing scenarios and other things. We are just opening up the application process along with our partner Mercy Housing on 1100 Ocean Avenue. That's the result of that site became available for affordable housing through a public community planning process that started in about 1999, if I can say such a thing. And the engagement of the community in considering what's appropriate for their neighborhood and what is the best use of especially public sites, publicly owned sites, and then getting through that planning process and actually being able to bring and to realize that dream in real affordable housing for low-income families and youth who are exiting homelessness. To be able to actually do that is very rewarding. The other thing I just want to give a plug to, the other thing that's really rewarding, and especially now that I've been a housing director for a bunch of years and a director in other contexts, is being able to have new people come into the field, young people come into the field, because there's a lot of other opportunities out there for smart, educated young people, and to know that there are people who are still caring, who still want to dedicate their lives to what's a really interesting field, aside from that it's the right thing to do, but it's a really interesting field. So that's very rewarding.